Hi, in this video we are going to talk about the terminologies that you will see getting exchanged a lot in DAOs. If you are a newbie, this is an absolute must watch. Terminology number one, WGMI or WAGMI, also known as WAGMI, we are going to make it, just indicates that a group of people are excited about the future and they're saying that, hey, we know we'll go in and make it, let's keep building. FUD, terminology number two, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Usually when you see Bitcoin prices collapse, there's suddenly every other token also starts getting affected. To a large extent, it's not always logical. It's simply a group of people thinking that things are going to go so bad that everyone starts running out. It's exactly in these moments of FUD or called FUD that you will also have golden opportunities to build something interesting. Next thing, fungible. Very important to understand because NFTs are terms that are floated here and there, and NFT is non-fungible. So fungible is anything that is interchangeable or replaceable. If I have a coin and I can give it to you, a physical coin, that's fungible because you could give me a different coin that looks exactly the same. In terms of non-fungible, those are not replaceable. So if you own an NFT, you own an NFT. You can't make an NFT that is exactly looking the same. If I look at the NFTs, I can look at their addresses and say that, hey, this is a different one, this is not replaceable. It will look similar, but the blockchain will validate that there's only one true original copy. Fork. Now, F-O-R-K. Fork usually refers to a difference in opinion. So forks can be of two types. It can be a soft fork or it can be a hard fork. It's usually when there is a blockchain running and there's someone who comes and says, hey, you know what? We think we can improve this chain by doing certain changes to the system. Now, if that change is too drastic, that the community gets divided on it, you may see establishment of an altogether new chain and some people from the community move into this new ideology. That is a hard fork. In terms of a soft fork, it's simply a modification where you go in and announce the community that we realize that this is a great addition. Everyone in the community agrees to it. So let's go ahead and make the change to the blockchain. Diamond hands. Very common a terminology that is often used to show or talk or refer to people who are deeply into crypto and who do not care about the crypto winter or come what may. Even if the token price crashes 70% or 80%, they know they are in there for the long term, or they know they are in there because they see a potential. So it refers both to people who understand the nuances of the system and they are bullish on it and they stick to the project no matter what, and also for people who are purely investors but who put in a bunch of money and they would not take it out if it's going down, but when it goes up, they may or may not, right? Like in diamond hand is also often a very common terminology that has been talked about lately with all of these meme coins getting popularity. There was a very common phrase that let Dogecoin, for example, hit $1 and $2, and people who are diamond holders or diamond hands, they will not sell even if it hits $1 because you know that it's going to be $2. So it's just a belief in the future and not selling or not moving from your position. Ape. This as a terminology is, of course, often confused with the profile picture that you see or these ape NFTs that you see. But otherwise as well, this is a terminology that has been started or that has been now more commonly being used for anyone who holds a lot of cryptocurrency. So people who are deep into the system and who hold a very massive chunk of cryptocurrencies, they are often seen as the OGs and will also be referred, like you can call them, maybe they're also one of the very rich people. You'll call them and refer to them as ape. These are apes. Hey, this is an ape, and you immediately look at that person. Okay, wow, this person looks like he's been in the game for long. He or she has been in the game for long. HODL, hodl, right? Like hold on for dear life. It's HOLD, holds misspelled, but it refers to the term come what may, hold on. Let the price is going down, hold on, it will come back. The price is going up, hold on, it will come down. Anything like, right? Like it's just a belief again in the system. To the moon often is referred to as a phrase which signals excitement. If I go in and say, hey, to the moon, it just says that I really believe in the project and we believe wherever we are massively undervalued and sky is the limit for us. Shitcoin often refers to as new coins which are unpopular. Now, a lot of shitcoins start getting mainstream because these coins, they have like absolute zero sort of a value. They are very cheap. And that's primarily because they either have no value, like they are not really a valuable project and it's just for some hype and a bunch of people trying to make easy money, or it's simply that the project is so new that people have not really built trust. So shitcoin refers to anything that is not really recognizable or that has not marked its identity in the world of cryptocurrency. POS, or proof of stake. Now this is a consensus mechanism and it's very important to understand. The way crypto tokens get generated is through the process of mining. Now, who's mining? It's a bunch of developers or people who are doing a lot of hard work. Now, in proof of stake, you're supposed to stake a good chunk of cryptocurrency in the blockchain to get the permission to even go in and validate the transactions through which a block is generated on the blockchain. Now, if you end up validating incorrectly, or if you're in a rush and you make a mistake, you will be charged a part of the staking that you had done, and which is why you have all the right reasons to not make mistakes and validate with all of your attention. On the other hand, there is an alternative, which is proof of work. It simply is that you have to go in and solve a complex mathematical equation, and whoever solves that equation fast proves that they have done the hard work, and then they end up being the person who gets the access to mint the next block, and in turn get all the rewards that come in terms of transaction fees or just simply block rewards. So proof of stake versus proof of work, also known as POS versus POW. Okay, moving on. Private key. It's usually an alphanumeric passcode. It's required to withdraw assets from a blockchain wallet, and it's often used to authorize digital transactions. For example, if you're using MetaMask, the secret phrase that you have or the seed phrase that you have, it's sort of trying to work on lines of your private key. Private keys are in complex, so MetaMask going the seed phrase route is just a simple way of making the phrase in a way where you're not really like, that's your private key, but you're really like, it's easy to remember. So private key is very, very, very important. Don't ever share your private keys with anyone. Minting, I also used the term minting in this video earlier. Minting is simply the process of adding a transaction to the blockchain, right? Like, so anything that you do and add it to the blockchain, it's the idea of a new block getting added to the chain of blocks that's there, and this new block addition is what's also known as minting. Liquidity often refers to how easily an asset can be bought or sold on a given market on an exchange. So when you go in and say liquidity is high, it means you can easily like change it into something else, or you can replace it with fiat or some other token. If liquidity is low, maybe when you're trying to buy or sell, you will see that there are no corresponding sellers or buyers on the other end. So liquidity is a term which is again gets floated a lot in DAOs or in general in Web3. Now here's a fun one, Lambo, Lambo. Yes, you guessed it. It stands for Lamborghini. It's often a term that goes and says when Lambo. Now when is also a terminology or a Web3 lingo that you should know. It's often spelled as WEN as opposed to WHEN. So it's like someone goes and says when Lambo, they're basically asking you, when do you think you'll be able to sell off your assets and get a Lamborghini? It again talks about that future, far into the future, that time when you have made enough money, when you have backed these projects from early on. And there is a lot of unity on that as well. Like there are some communities that are purely hype based, and you will see these terminologies like Lambo or when token being floated around there as well. So you should always see that as a red flag. But in general as well, it's a terminology you should be aware of. DApp, D-A-P-P, decentralized application. It simply refers to an application built on an open source code that basically lives on blockchain. So dApps exist basically independent of a central authority. The way these standard products are built, standard companies are run, a dApp doesn't have that. It's just a group of people where these users are incentivized to maintain the application. And how are they incentivized? Again, through rewarding of tokens. Consensus. This terminology will be used the most in a DAO. It's simply we have a consensus, we don't have a consensus. It simply means the state of agreement among the nodes on a blockchain. So if you have a consensus, that means that the entire group of people agree. If you have consensus, that means all the nodes on a blockchain agree that this transaction is a valid transaction and it may be added. It's really literal, but it may be used in two contexts, and I just mentioned both of them. Altcoin, it basically refers to any coin that is not Bitcoin. Now lately it has been started getting associated with tokens that are not that mainstream. For example, you will still see people mention Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then altcoin, but you get it. Like Ethereum also, for that matter, can be classified into an altcoin. Airdrop, very, very, very common terminology. Again, it basically refers to the awarding of a token or awarding of NFT or whatever for that matter to a selected few groups of wallets. Why you may be doing it? Because maybe these people, these selected few people were your early backers, or maybe you're just trying to make your project popular. So you're going and saying, hey, here is a few free bunch of tokens, and you know what? Today they don't have value, tomorrow they may be super valuable. So airdrops like get a lot of attention in the world of Web3. Gas is a terminology we should definitely talk about, because it's not the gas that you put in your car. It refers to this fee that you have to pay by as a user to conduct a transaction or to execute a smart contract. And the gas prices vary. It varies simply based on the demand, the time of the day, and also the complexity of the task. So time of the day and demand are like interconnected, but also the complexity of the task. So if it's a very complex task, the gas fees will be higher. And finally, a couple more. DEX, DEX, it refers to decentralized exchange. Consider it the way you know exchanges. There is an authority behind it, a group of people who are running it. Decentralized exchanges are simply built on blockchain and then run by users and smart contracts instead of one central authority. So it's very similar to an exchange. You can go buy, sell things there, swap things there. A very common example is Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap, Uniswap, and so on. But you get the idea. It's a decentralized, which means there is no one owner. And I think we have covered quite a few of them. So like quick recap, we covered WAGMI, FUD, Fungible, Fork, Diamond Hands, Ape, HODL, HODL, to the moon, shitcoin, proof of stake, POS, proof of work, POW, private key, minting, liquidity, consensus, Lambo, when Lambo, altcoin, airdrop, gas, and DEX, decentralized exchange. And of course, I think we missed on a couple of them, minting, and so on. But there you go. Like if you know these terminologies, you are good to go. Jump into any community, start using them. And one more that I have to end with is GM or GN. It simply refers to good morning or good night, but it is not really literal. You will see folks greet each other as GM. It's like, hey, GM, GN. It doesn't really refer to the time of the day. The more I have seen it being used in communities, but it's a way of saying, hey, the way you shake heads when you meet each other. In the digital first world, GM is that way of doing it. And one more that you will see, you do not spell the word sirs. So gentlemen or sirs is spelled in English as SIR. In the world of cryptocurrency, a friend is often called as SER, sir. Or a friend, FRIEND, becomes friend, FREN, GM friend, GM sirs, right? You are good to go. Now you are a pro. Go and get excited about the community and participate as much as you can. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.